And we are fresh. Oh, hi. Hey. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, I would like to introduce our masterclass facilitator today, Dagmar Brayling, who is originally based in Durban, but she is home now in Germany. So she's speaking to us from Germany. She's visiting her family on that side of the world, and I'm sure you pick it up from her accent that actually she's actually originally from Germany. And not only is Dagmar an expert in various areas of how to fund a startup, how to actually design a well-refined pitch for funding. She also assists entrepreneurs in finding the funders throughout the world, particularly here in South Africa. So at the end of this, please do note her contact details, and you should receive an email from me this week with the recording of this session, with her contact details as well, so that you can set up time with him. Yes, she does charge a fee for her services. Unlike us, she's not a foundation, she's a business. So for you to be able to speak to him, there's a fee that she charges, but she typically has a special for people who were part of this information session. Dagmar, over to you, ma'am.
Okay, thanks very much again to the Wadhwani Foundation and to you, Solela, for setting this up. So let me just start with sharing my screen. Everybody, please just make sure that you... where is it now? Okay, let me just do that. That you are... Okay. That you're muted so that we don't have some disturbing sounds in the background. Personal Toli, please mute yourself. Okay, thanks very much. So what the topic today is the understanding of the different funding options for SMEs. I will be a little bit more general than usually. Usually I'm talking specifically about funding in South Africa, but at the end of the day, all these options are usually all over the world available to you. So this is what I will share today. Who am I that I'm able to talk to you about this? My name is Dagmar Brayling-Marais. I'm the CEO here at Funding Connection. I started this business over a decade ago. I've done similar things in Germany at an economic development corporation, and I assisted companies there to raise capital from the German government and from the European Union. Okay, so I think one aspect is important for all of us just to understand. Why do governments are supporting SMEs? And that is the impact SMMEs have onto the society and, of course, onto the economy. It has to do here in South Africa. These are the numbers here at the moment, the two percentages I found for South Africa, but it's similar in all, definitely. I'm not too sure if it's similar in all African countries, but it will be similar. So they are definitely, SMMEs are a big creator of employments. Here in South Africa, 56% of all employments is offered by SMMEs. They are a big generator of innovations. They are also a big driver for regional development. They are a big driver for exports and trades. SMMEs, one of the specific advantages of SMMEs is the resilience and the adaptability. So keep in mind, an SMME, I don't need to go to a board to make a decision. I can make my own decision for my business. If you are in a corporate world, and some of you may have been, this is really a problem. Until they make a decision, it can take months to be able now to convince everybody, maybe even all the shareholders, to convince all the shareholders. And I'm thinking about VW or Mercedes in Germany. They have a big shareholding meetings each and every year, and some of the decisions are done there. SMMEs are also offering diversity for the supply chain. So if you go to the supermarket, you don't only have the big international brands, but you also will find local brands. And this is definitely an advantage for all of us as consumers. And something what I think is also impressive here, definitely in South Africa, the gross domestic product, 60% of it comes from SMMEs. That means also I tried to find the number, how much money SMMEs contribute as income tax and that. And this is I couldn't find this. So obviously SARS is not sharing here this information in South Africa. But because it's 60%, I would also think it's a high number, is what SMMEs bring to the budget for the government to use for all our benefits. And it is similar in definitely all countries. So let's dive into it. The different types of funding options. I separated a little bit just for you to understand. So there's one thing is debt financing. You can get it from banks. You get it from microloans. You can even get that peer-to-peer lending. It's when your family or friends lend you some money and you need to pay it back, including interest rate. It can also be from government institutions. I definitely know that South Africa does that. I've done that in Tanzania. I know it's possible in Botswana. We've done that also I think in Zambia, of course, in the European countries, governments. You remember why they do that? Because they know all of us, we are a big driver of an economy. Yeah, that's why they do that. The other option is equity finance, and I will go a little bit more in detail later on into it. It's angel investors, venture capitalists, private equity. That means you're giving away a little bit of your shares to somebody else. And the two last parts is the alternative financing. Crowdfunding is really, really specific. Not each and every business really will be successful with crowdfunding. Factoring is an opportunity. And of course, the thing what we all like the most are grants and subsidies. Okay, so let's go into debt financing. Debt financing means that you borrow some money from somebody, you will need to pay it back, usually in a certain amount of time with a certain interest rate per year. And you need to make sure that it is still viable for you. Like Solila said to you, I'm from Germany. Our interest rates are definitely lower than here, the South African interest rates. We are around about 14% here at the moment. And you need to earn definitely more money. Your profit margins need to be higher here in South Africa than they are in the European Union to be able also to afford this. These are the straightforward bank loans, and there is, I'm not too sure who is this, just please mute yourself. Lines of credits means it's an overdraft. Okay, an overdraft can be nice if you are already trading. Usually you get an overdraft from your bank after 2 years. Then they feel comfortable and confident with you that they can give you an overdraft. That means you can use it as you need, and you only pay the amount, interest rate on the amount you are using. It definitely helps with working capital, with being a little bit more flexible. It is usually the interest rate of an overdraft is higher than a normal straightforward bank loan, because they only charge you, of course, for the money you really use. Another way to raise debt financing is asset-based lending. That means you want to buy some specific equipment, and the equipment is then part of the surety for the lender. And lots of banks like to do this usually because it gives them some sort of surety. Then we have here the term loans. Okay, so I'm just going here. It's not bank loans and there are term loans. Term loans is this what I mentioned already under the bank loans is there's a specific interest rate over 5 years you need to pay, and then you're repaying that loan over 5 years with the usually constant monthly payment. And the monthly payment includes the capital repayment plus the interest rate. Another option is for SMMEs is definitely microfinance. Microfinance is usually expensive. The reason why is at the end of the day, assessing a venture takes always time. And it does not matter if you want $100,000 or $1 million US. The work is similar what goes into it. And let me tell you, out of my own experience, in most cases, the work what goes into microfinance is higher than if it is normal finance. So this is an option. You just always need to have a look at whenever somebody offers you microfinance, have a look at the interest rate. That's something what I do with all my clients all the time. I'm just showing them, you want $1 million, you want it for 5 years. This is the interest rate at the moment. Please be aware that you are paying back $1.5 million. Yeah. Is it worth it? Do you think it makes sense? Because sometimes people say, oh yeah, it would be nice to have an extra 500,000 rand just in case something happens, In most cases, it's not worth it because the interest rate would kill the business. And of course, also, I want to mention here this peer-to-peer. If you have family or friends or maybe even suppliers or customers who will lend you some money, you can. It is also can be as debt finance. That means you're paying interest rate for it to be able, and then you need to repay it over a certain period of time. Equity finance. Okay, that is always what lots of people get absolutely excited, specifically when we are talking about angel investors. Okay, So, because the understanding is usually that angel investors just give you the money and then for close to nothing, and then they just they have such a good heart and want to help you. Okay, so these investors are investors. Okay, so they think about their return on investment. They are called angels because they will take high risks. Yeah, and they can help startups or companies usually in the startup phase. Most of the time for all these, for angel investors, for venture capital, for private equity, you need to have some sort of track record. It is really difficult to attract somebody to invest in your money if it's just an idea. And angel investors, and all of them calculate similar like what I'm telling you. Okay, so there is somebody who says, okay, I have 3 different projects. Okay, I'm giving everyone $1 million. I did my due diligence according to what I've known. This, all 3 of them should be successful and should work. Yeah. But they also know that, of course, even if they've done their due diligence, one of them will fail. Yeah, 1 of 3 is usually their fail rate. That means now they lost $1 million, $1 million. Okay, that means they only have now 2 million. That means, from an investor perspective, these 2 need now to cover the loss of the $1 million what they lost. They need to repay already each of them $1.5 million. But if they pay now the investor only each $1.5 million, there's no profit. At the end of the day, this angel investor even lost all the venture capitalist, yeah? Because we have an inflation rate and the money today is more worth than the money tomorrow. That means usually an investor, an angel investor, private equity firms, venture capitalists, they all look at your potential to scale up your business dramatically. That means to be able to value your business in 3 to 5 years, 3 times, 5 times of the value what it is today. Usually you can say they give you $1 million, they want back 3 million. Yeah, so this is round about the number you need to have in mind. And the angel investor is somebody who's taking lots of risks, but of course they all want to have that money back, and of course and make some profits. That's their idea, you know. Venture capital firms are usually is a firm who collects capital from wealthy individuals. They have their team, they will evaluate different business opportunities and then recommend a specific project. Some of them also are an expert in a specific industry so that they can benchmark your success against the success of others in your industry. And private equity is similar. So these are private investors. They want to invest their wealth, of course, to be able to earn money. Yeah. Equity financing, let me just add a couple of things. Okay, so that means you give away some of your shares. Number 1 is, and I'm always telling everybody, there's nothing wrong with having a business partner. Don't misunderstand me. But having a business partner is similar, having an equity partner is similar like a marriage. Yeah. Please choose wisely. I'm sitting lots of times with some business owner and they say, how do we get rid of my business partner at the moment? Yeah. So because they never ever sit down with your business partner, talk about your ideas, your values, your mission, in which direction you want to go, similar like you would honestly do with somebody you want to marry. You first get to know them before you decide, yes, that's a fit and I want to spend the rest of my life with this person. Yeah. So, and be wise and make sure you're both on the same track. I understand the desperation. Okay, so that people say, I just need some money and I do whatever it takes. I understand this, but it can bite you in the butt later on. Yeah. So be careful when you do this. Do your due diligence also on your investor. Discuss with them what happens if you want to separate. Have things in writing. Have everything properly in place to just to protect yourself. Okay, now let's come to a couple of alternative financing options. I mentioned that before, crowdfunding can be suitable for, okay, can you just, thank you. It is a couple of things, please. I tried that for some businesses. They asked me, can't you help me? I did some research on it. Number one is you need to find a platform for your country. Okay, you can't just go into the US, use one US crowdfunding platform, raise some capital. They will, in some circumstances, not be able to release the money into any other country than the US. Yeah. The other aspect of crowdfunding is that usually it works like this. So I'm looking for some capital. I want to open, let's say, a coffee shop here in Hillcrest. Hillcrest has no coffee shops. Let's all stick together and help each other. And I'm selling t-shirts. You're giving me 300 Rand, and I'm giving you in exchange for this a t-shirt with our logo on it. Yeah. Then this is the exchange, the t-shirt against the 300 Rand, and that's it. There are other crowdfunding platforms out there where you can already order something. I saw some nice advertising, I don't know, that was half a year ago or something like this, where somebody designed a lovely lady's bag to use really for gym, for small day trips, and for carrying your computer to the office. Was lovely designed with lots of bells and whistles, and they did pre-ordering. That is also an option to do crowdfunding. There are a couple of different options out there. It just needs to be something what is really attractive. If you say you want to set up your, I don't know, your toilet paper manufacturing using crowdfunding, your chances are small. Let's be carefully saying this. Yeah. Factoring is for existing businesses a nice way also to raise some capital if you need some working capital. Factoring means you send some invoices out to your clients. You know the clients will only pay you in, I don't know, 60 days or 30 days. You need some cash in between. Banks even do this, but there are also other financiers who do this. You can sell them your invoices. They will collect it. They give you a certain percentage now, and they are willing to wait for 30 days, 60 days, I think in some cases even 120 days. Yeah. It can help with your cash flow if you really need this. Maybe there's another big order coming in, but this is definitely for existing and trading businesses. This would not work for startups. And then I just added it here under the alternative financing. These are, of course, grants and subsidies. We, of course, all are interested in these. There are usually some grants available in most countries. Remember, because the government want us to start SMMEs that will grow their economy, and that definitely also helps them because we are paying all the income tax and we are collecting the VAT for them. And so this is why they are interested in this. So I'm not going here now into what grants are available. You will need to have a look at in your country. You usually find them, I find them always quite easily. If you have some challenges or trouble, then just get in contact with me and then I can tell you how to do that or help you to search for it. So choose, of course, you need to choose the right funding options for you. You remember I said that already also with the debt can be expensive, put lots of pressure onto your business. Grants are always the first choice, you know, so, and you need to think about also what stage your business is. Startups getting finance from commercial banks is usually a little bit more tricky. You usually need to have a minimum of 50% own contribution. They will finance, and if they really believe in your idea, they are willing to finance 50%. But for the financing for the debt, you need to have surety. Yeah, and usually if you want $1 million from the bank, then they want surety for, I don't know, 1.4, 1.5 million. Yeah. You need to have a look at the industry. What is the best option for you? You also, it depends on the risk tolerance of the financier, but of course also on your risk tolerance. Yeah, you making the decision. It is your business. You need to think about what is our best option here. And having, let's talk about equity partners, having an equity partner who is really experienced in your industry can add lots of value, not only the money, but their expertise, maybe their supply chain. And with this, I mean both, either way, suppliers or access to market can definitely help you a lot. Think about your control and your ownership preferences. Just debt financing, they will not have shares in your business. You are making the decisions, but you of course still need to take into consideration what your financiers expect from you. Yeah, don't mess this relationship up. Let me tell you, if you are an entrepreneur, you always will need some finance, and you want to have the opportunity to go back to them and say, okay, paid back or paid mostly back. Now I want to grow further. I have a big order or I need some help here. Yeah. Okay, so now I just want in general to talk a little bit about the application process and the capital raising process. You can always have a look at it, and you can also co-finance things. You know, you're getting a portion as a grant, you're getting a portion from an equity partner, you're getting a portion from a financier. All these things can happen and work hand in hand. It's a little bit tricky, let me tell you this, because the question is always what comes first, but that's definitely something where we are also able to advise you and to help you what you should do first. Okay, so this is here just the basic information, what you definitely need to compile when you want to raise capital and apply either way for a loan or a grant. And please do me a favor, do yourself a favor, do the financier a big favor. Take your time and do that properly. Your application pack shows how you do business. how diligent you are, how good your administration is. You have no idea what I have seen. Application forms, I wasn't even able to read anything. Everything was crossed out, and it was a mess, you know. So you're giving me something like this, and you're expecting me to give you $200,000 or 4 million rand for something like this, and it shows no, honestly, it doesn't show any respect. Also, no respect for the financiers. That's also one thing why the financiers here in South Africa also definitely like to work with us, because our application pack is well prepared, neat and tidy, properly filled out. All documentations are there. It makes the life of the financier and their processes so much easier for them, because they just can tick all the boxes. Everything is there. Okay, we know exactly to whom to give this now. This is the next stage. Yeah. So usually you have a loan application form or a grant application form. Take your time, fill that out. You, in most cases, you need a business plan. Not in all of them, but definitely in most cases. Also there, you can't put together a proper business plan on a weekend if you've never ever done a business plan before. Yeah, we can do that quite quickly. I have a team, and I'm always sharing that with everybody. We are working like a conveyor belt. One does the financial forecast, the other does the research, the next does the writing, the next the business plan consultant checks everything, and then we even have somebody who does the proofreading at the end. And then before it goes out, I'm having a look at it just to make sure. In some cases, I had the first contact with the client just to make sure that everything is how I understood is in this business plan. And if not, then we just have a quick conversation with the client and say, okay, so my understanding was this. And they said, oh no, it changed in the meantime. So, okay, then that's fine. Yeah. So you need a financial forecast. Some financiers expect a 3 years financial forecast. Most institutions require 5 years forecast. And in some cases, also the financier expected a 10-year forecast. It depends, of course, then on the size of the investment, where they then see the first 1 or 2 years it is not really profitable. Are they able to pick that up properly, and are also able to repay the loan all the time? Make sure you have the quotations for your planned investment in place. You know, you just can't say I need 5 million for a building. And if they ask you then, okay, so how big is the building? How many rooms? You know, what is the furnitures and fittings? And you're saying, I don't know. That's not going to work. Yeah. Make sure you have proper quotes in there. It's, of course, keep in mind, everything what we are doing here is also to prevent any fraudulent activities. And I know we are in Africa. Everybody is smiling. It's only happening in Africa. Nope. You have the same thing in other European countries. So it's just making sure that everything is above board and everything is correct. So this is here the application portion. Then we come here to the company details. Here in South Africa, you should have a registered company. It depends on your country, what they say, what you need to have in place. You definitely need to have an income tax number of your company. You need, here in South Africa, we have tax clearance certificates stating that we are paying SARS on a regular basis and everything is up to date. In South Africa, that's also something specific. We have the BEE certificates sharing the level of BEE empowerment, and in some cases also the BEE shareholding, the black shareholding in a business. Some of the funds need this so that to show that you are able to qualify. But that these two are really here South African specific. And If you are trading, of course, make sure you have your annual financial statements properly done, okay? And make sure you understand what they are saying. And you need to have some company bank statements to show your inflow and outflow of money. And if you're a startup, you don't need this. Then you just have a confirmation that you have a company bank account. Yeah, because the financiers want to see in which bank account they need now to put the money you are applying for, need to put in. They will definitely not put that into your personal bank account. Yeah. And then, of course, there is a proof of address of the business if you are operating, and so that they also uh, have some control measures in place. And of course, you also need to have all the information from the shareholder, director, or member. I'm using these three names because here in South Africa, we have a CC and a PTY. It depends on your country again. So whoever is a shareholder, whoever is a director, you need to have this information from them. The CV, of course, the personal assets and liabilities, the personal income and expenses, private bank statements. Because let me tell you what people are doing. They are there to prove that the company is trading and trading well. They use their private money and put that from their private bank account into the company bank account, and then the company bank account puts it back into the private, and that's a cycle just to see, okay, we are trading. No, that's not trading. Yeah. Copy of an ID in South Africa, you need to have it certified. I've never ever experienced this before, but this is also something really specific here to South Africa. But your ID, your passport, you definitely need to have in your package. And also, if you're married, your marriage certificate, in some cases, your certificate copy of ID of your spouse. Stembisa, thank you very much. Okay, these are here the basic information. Again, if you want to apply on your own for any of the funds, take your time. Read the rules and regulations. I know it's boring. It is nothing exciting. And I know that. But this is relevant for you, and that is also one of the big challenges if you want to start a business, because now you say, okay, I want to start a business, this is what I want to do. You have a little bit of an idea. Now you go out and now you read some of the rules and regulations of a fund, but you only read one or two of these regulations. Yeah, now you change your business model to these regulations, and then you're disappointed when you are not even taken into consideration. Yeah, I also have that challenge with some of my clients. They said this business plan was specifically done because I wanted to apply for this specific grant, and I read the first page and said, you don't even qualify for this grant. Yeah, no, but yes, this is, I said, yes, this is one of the rules and regulations, but this states that you're excluded, this shows that you're already excluded, and this shows that you're excluded. Yeah. I know there are always great consultant out there. Just find somebody who is experienced, who has some sort of track record, and so that you can just sit down together with them and ask them, okay, show me which grant is it, which finance company do you want to approach? Show me the rules and regulations. Do we fit into it? Yeah. And then just go through it. And small little changes, it's easy to do. Okay, so that is not a problem. But now going too far away from your business idea is usually not a good idea, only because of a specific grant. Because what you have in your mind is usually a business what is profitable and successful. And if you now try to change it so that it fits into one of the grants, and you I don't know, price yourself out, or there is not even a market for what you want to offer. And I've seen that lots of times. That's why I'm mentioning this here, and I'm also sharing this in a little bit more general. Be careful with this, yeah. I'm also always saying starting a business is a little bit like a big puzzle, yeah. And we know exactly this is the product we want to offer. We know exactly this is the market we want to approach. This is the location we want to be, and this is the manufacturer or the equipment we want to use. And what we do here, we now need to make sure that everything fits together. Yeah. And sometimes it means somebody chose an equipment and then, but the quality this equipment can produce will not fit the market, you know, or the equipment what somebody has chosen is able to produce 100,000 units a month, but the market is only, I don't know, 10,000 units a month. The equipment you plan is too big for the market you want to satisfy at the moment. And then doesn't mean the idea is not good. It just means, okay, either way you say, this is the equipment I really want because according to the quality this one is able to produce, this is what I want. It's able also to use the raw material I can source here in this country. Now you need to say, okay, so my target market at the moment is only 10,000 units. Can I up that? Yeah. So what, who else can I approach so that I can go up a couple of units to be close to the 100,000 units this equipment is able to produce per month. Yeah. And we always do these checks in between. I had sometimes even things that the machine was able to produce something per hour what the client thought they are able to sell per month. Yeah. So, and then you just need to see, okay, how can we make sure that everything fits together? Because if the equipment is too big and your market is too small in this specific instance, that means also the equipment is too expensive. Yeah. So this market you want to satisfy at the moment will not give you the profits to be able to pay for this equipment, because the manufacturers also know, okay, so they have an idea. This is the equipment. This is usually if you need to finance it. This is the repayment of the equipment. And this is the units you should be able to sell to make sure that you are able to finance our equipment. They have the experience. There is also some correlation. Okay. One thing, it's definitely a big thing in South Africa. I'm sure it is not different in here other African countries. Is compliance. Make sure you are compliant according to your country's requirements. Okay. I just mentioned a couple of things here just to highlight them. Your company is registered. Income, you have an income tax, you have updated your AFS, your annual financial statements on a yearly basis. That would be absolutely great. You pay also your staff suitable salaries and wages, you know. So sometimes I'm seeing here business plans where people pay half of the minimum wage for their staff. No, you can't get this financed. Make sure that they are that you pay the unemployment into their unemployment fund. COID here is similar. We also had that in Germany. So it is, if an accident happened, that they during working hours and also on their way and to and from home, so that they have some insurance, the staff. All your health and safety measures are in place. We just had beginning of January here, the Department of Health and Safety in our office, just checking that we have everything there. Fire extinguisher, first aid kit, and so that you make sure you have all these things in place. I know that I'm always thinking, really, so now they ask me, does my team members have access to fresh water and to a pollution facility? And then I'm always first I'm upset, and then I'm more shocked, because if they ask me this, that means in some cases team members don't have that, and then he was also interviewing some of my staff members, asking them if I'm chasing them around, if I'm micromanaging them, if I'm always on their back and checking what they are doing. So it has also, of course, has something to do with health and safety. The more pressure you have, the easier it is maybe also for you to make some mistakes. And in an office, it's not really too dangerous, but if I think that you're working with some of these heavy machines, that can be in some cases life-threatening. Yeah, have a look at in your country, what compliance regulations are there, so that you are definitely able to fulfill them. You limit here in South Africa, and if I remember that correctly, also in Germany, always depends on how many staff you have on a specific location, and of course how high the risk is at this specific location. Yeah, and there are of course also specific requirements for different industries. Please, 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 for your own safety, but also, of course, for your staff, for your clients, for your customers, make sure that you have all these things in place. Okay, so now we are already at submit your application. I mentioned a couple of things before already. Put some effort into it. Make sure you fill things out nicely. If your handwriting is like mine, don't fill out the forms, okay? Ask somebody else to do that for you. I know not everybody can do that on the computer, and sometimes I'm struggling, and I think my laptop learns flying out of the window because it doesn't do the things I want it to do. So, but you can always have these things also handwritten and then scan back. Here in South Africa, lots of applications are already online nowadays. It wasn't like this when I started. We printed everything, we submitted via overnight courier. Now it's easy for us. We either I email it to the relevant person, or in some cases they also have online portals where we submit everything, and then we can follow up with reference numbers and also know exactly on which desk this application lands. And yes, have a business plan, have your financial forecast, put effort into the required documents. Don't make it difficult for them, please. So today I sent the certified copy of ID, and tomorrow the business plan, and in 3 days I sent them my financial forecast. You make them not happy. Yeah, make their life easy. I've been on that side also. The Economic Development Corporation, we did some small little funds, and I was responsible for this. And it's so nice if you just you have the application. At that time, it was all in paper. I had a checklist to say, okay, this is there, number 1 is there, number 2 is there. And some clients, companies even numbered it according to the requirements on the form. So I could say number 1 is there, number 2 is there, number 3 is there. Annoying was when the documents were all over the place, and I first needed to find, where's the business plan? Okay, it's here. Where's the financial forecast? Last page, of course, so, and make it easy for them. The easier and the quicker it goes through all the processes there. So it's in your interest to do that, and make a first good impression on the financier. It doesn't matter if it's a bank, if it's a government institution, if it is government institutions, they offer some grants, or even a private investor, you know. Don't just go to them and say, this is what I want to do. The first thing that they will ask you, okay, do a pitch deck, show me a little bit of information. Yeah. And then you can do a pitch deck, and then they usually ask you, okay, so the pitch deck is great, I need to see now the business plan. Yeah, but still put some effort into it. There are lots of lovely systems out there you can use on your own to do these things. I always say put some love in there. Yeah. Yeah, let me just put this over here. I'm not too sure if you see this too. So just a couple of tips. Make sure your business plan is strong. And with strong, I mean the business model itself is strong. How much money do you need? For what exactly do you need the money? What is your market? How will you tackle the market? How will you earn money? Will you be able to earn money to repay the loan and still earn some money for yourself? Yeah. Because they also know, the financier understands it's a win-win situation. You know, if you are earning money with this business, then you will, I'm blunt, move your butt, you know, because that is motivation. And that's why they also want to see that you as a director, you as a shareholder, that you are also earning money. Understand the terms and conditions. Number one is read rules and regulations before you submit. And then, of course, also understand the terms and conditions. Lots of times people come to me and say, Dagmar, I need 10,000 US dollars. I found a fund and they will finance me, and I just need to pay $10,000 up front. And, or I had, what else did I have? I had somebody, Dagmar, this is, we need to add this to the business plan. This guy wants 10% of the investment amount to be our accountant for the first year, and we need to pay this 10% over 12 months back. They wanted 150 million rand, that is 7.5 million US dollars. This accountant wanted to earn 7.5 million US dollars in year one with this business. And I said, but what do they want to do? Yes, they do our accounting for 7.5 million US dollars. No, I don't think that you need an accountant like this. Yeah. Read rules and regulations. If you are not confident with this, do yourself a favor, seek professional advice. Don't burn bridges, because if you submitted mediocre application and then they come back to you and say this is not fundable, then going back to them with a great application is really challenging. It's not impossible, I'm not saying this, but it's definitely challenging. Yeah, your first impression was not good. Now your second impression needs to be terrific. Yeah. And also something what I always recommend is maintain transparency and communication with investors and with lenders. Don't try to, I don't know the English word. In German, there is a nice word. Okay, so lying is too harsh. There is a lovely word to say, it's half a lie, you know, so, and or maybe not communicating some critical parts in the first place with investors and lenders. Don't do this. Yeah. So if you're struggling with something, be open and say, okay, this is a little bit of a challenge at the moment. I will figure that out and I come back with some solutions. Yeah. Okay, so what I'm prepared for you, and I will copy that in a second into the chat room when I'm out here of this presentation, is how to compile a business plan. I received great reviews from this free guide. A couple of people said, thanks very much. We used this and we were able to raise capital because we followed your instructions. And I said, that's great. But I also need to congratulate them, of course, because following instructions, it's sometimes not easy for people, and doing exactly what is recommended there is obviously key to success here. Okay, so we will do in a second my Q&A just for you. Telephone number, this is here South Africa, but use the admin at Funding Connection. Cherise is there on the other side. She will then see what she can do for you, what we can do for you, and then we will be also able definitely to assist you. Thanks very much for your patience here. These are usually not always really exciting and entertaining presentations, but I definitely hope that this helped you. And I see there are already some questions in the chat. I'm just going into my presentation and just making sure that I'm giving you the link. So Leila, you want to go onto Facebook or wherever else you shared the...
Yeah, I do, because I'm gonna be shut down. I'm gonna go down on Twitter in less than 10 minutes. So I think let's start there. There's the first question, Dagmar. Hi, everyone. I'm sure the guys, everyone who's here, they also are pressed with questions. But let me just start it because we only have 2 questions on my Twitter timeline. So the first question is, what would are the funders that we can look at in South Africa that you can recommend? That's one. The second part, I think you've just answered it. How do we get hold of you? So I think, and they will also get the recording of this alongside with your contact details.
Okay. So in general, here in South Africa, you have a couple of different funders. It always depends, of course, on your project. They have specific mandates. Here in South Africa, we have, I'm just mentioning them, the IDC, CIFA, Land Bank, and I missed one, and the National Empowerment Fund. DTI is responsible usually for grants. These are the main government institutions who can assist you. If you want to apply for smaller amounts, there is CEDA and there's NYDA. They also have some funds to help startups.
Thank you for that. Hi, everybody who's on Twitter. The recording will be available on YouTube, hopefully by end of this weekend. I know you guys are I'm gonna switch off because I do not have the paid version of this live masterclass. Let's go on our chat section. I did see a couple of questions here. Hopefully I'll be able to summarize some. Give me 2 seconds. Where does loan from payment gateway fall here? I think they're referring to when you were showing where you can get grants and loans and stuff like that.
Yeah. So these payment gateways, you mean PayFast, and they offer some loans. They offer loans against your portion of the monthly payments you're receiving, because they feel comfortable. Okay, you're obviously getting each and every month, I don't know, 50,000 rand in, so they can offer you a portion of it as a loan. And because they know you are getting lots of money in through debit and credit cards, then they are confident that they can keep their money, what they're collecting in the first place, from your customers. It is, yes, finance institutions or other funds. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. I actually did not even know that myself. Thank you for that. Here's another question. Dagmar, do you have any teams or recommendation for affordable firms that could assist with things like AFS? I'm not quite sure what AFS is.
Annual financial statements.
Oh, I'm a lousy accountant, clearly.
I'm sure usually you would know that. So it's out of the... yes, just contact us. We are just busy with creating here. I haven't shared that anywhere else. We're creating here a nice team all over South Africa, and we have some accountant there who can definitely assist you and help you. Just please do yourself a favor, and also, of course, your wallet a favor. Don't just have a shoebox full of slips and invoices. Make sure it's some sort organized, and your admin need. How can you manage a business if your admin is not in order? If you don't know each and every day how much does it cost you to run your business, how much money do you need to get in each and every day, and if you don't need know that per day, but you should need to know that per month. And if you don't have, all your expenses and all your income some sort of captured, okay, and I'm not talking about a really sophisticated accounting system, usual Excel spreadsheet. And hey, when I started, I had the piece of paper, so not here in South Africa. That's what we started in Germany with some of our side hustles there. We had a piece of paper, expenses, income. We knew exactly what we needed to earn per month to make sure that this was a success. Yeah. Please, please,
Fantastic.
please.
And by the way, there are a couple of tools online that you can actually download that are free, that you can use. You can just reach out or you can reach out on me via email, and I'll share some that I can recommend. Okay, here's another one. Do you have any funding connections for businesses who are setting up in South Africa that we can apply for? Well, funding connection here. Go ahead, Dagmar.
Okay. So let me just, sorry, I'm just trying here also to read. So this was the AFS, any suppliers in this group? Okay, funding connection, yes, Rankanwa, Jonathan. Do you know why grants take so long? Okay, so let me tell you, grants always take long because they need to make sure that everything is above board. Compliance is absolutely important. They need also the institution who gives out the grants need to report back here in South Africa to government and state exactly where they to whom they gave the grants. Is always everything up to above board. We know that, no, but that's on another page. But that is, and even I know that even in Germany, everybody is complaining. It takes a couple of months until they process it. Until they checked all the boxes. That is like it is. Sorry. So Leila, which question did you ask me?
I think you've answered actually. It's part of it. The question was no, you've answered it. You've answered it. You just covered it. Here's
Okay.
another one. Yeah. Here's another. Can I just to add to what Dagmar has said? As somebody who sat in the funding committee, so funding committees they don't sit every day, particularly at CEDA. So it's not their job. The applications are processed on daily basis, but the funding committee is a separate body of independent experts like myself, who would then choose who is funded because they meet certain criteria, they've been corrected, and so forth. And we have a fiduciary duty to actually assess critically. Remember, the government can sue us because we're independent, right? So they could sue me as Uxolela, who's independent, doing that. So they have a legal right to do that. That's why if funding will never be released at a snap of a finger. So you do need to. You can't be asking for funding if you are pressed and you need supplies today, and so you do need to give yourself time. That's why planning has to be critical part of your business as well, taking in consideration of what I've just said. Here's another question. By the way, you answered that quite well, Dagmar. As somebody who's in finance, and I couldn't answer it the way that you did. Check I guess funding connection checks on there, or wait, she will assist contacts. Yes, everyone who is here, anybody who has RSVP'd, they will have the recording. also contact details of Dagmar. And Dagmar, before she leaves again, she'll pull up her slide with her contact details. And the Dagmar's team will reach out to you with further information, such as the template that she shared with you on things to watch out. So she will also share that with me so that I can send that. You can actually, she will send that to you guys, not me, to support what we shared today. And what is the other question? Good
I
evening. Do
have
you know
somebody
what
has
class?
here a client in the United Arabian Emirates looking for $7 million. Yes, that is okay. If you ask me something like this, it's like me asking you, buy me a vehicle. Okay, and now you're thinking, what does she want? Okay, so, and it's similar, this question is similar like this, and I'm always joking, you buy me a Harley Davidson, you make me really unhappy. My husband would be delighted. Okay, if you buy me, please, a red Porsche 911, you make me happy. Yeah, so without any details, it is impossible to do any recommendation when it comes to financing or funding in general. There are so many small little bits and pieces I need to know to be able really to advise you. Get in contact with my office, Andrew, and then we will be able to just see what we can do there. Jonathan, your associate, it's been a worthwhile opportunity through Wadhwani Foundation. We really appreciate all this effort. Lovely, Rankwana. Yes. I also saw somebody else there from my team here. So Leila, you are asking also some questions. I don't know why we have so many Leilas here. So let's see. Do you have any funding connections to businesses who are startups in South Africa that we can apply for now? Yes, there's always, even for startups, it's absolutely not a problem. There are opportunities out there. I promise you that. Yeah. Your application needs to be just really strong. You know, you just can't go there and need $1 million. And yeah, I'm not too sure for what I needed, and I don't know how I will be able to repay it, you know, so I don't even know to whom to market it. That's not going to work. Yeah. Bongani. Please, can we get help with the logistics funding? Yes, also not a problem, depending on for what you need some money. If it is for a truck, you need to have direct contracts in place. According to the name, I just assume Bongani Ngulebe. Oh God, my eyes are tired. Sounds
Bongani
South
Ngulele.
African.
Bongani Ngulele is
Thank
my
you.
name.
I'm sure
Yeah.
you are South African.
My question is, logistics is very broad. So it can be for trucks, it can be for freight forwarding, it can be for expansion in terms of warehousing, adding more staff, licensing, and all that. So I don't know if you can help us secure something big enough to operate and cover all the overheads and expenses.
Okay, so only covering overheads and expenses is difficult. Okay, so you need to have, you can't just run a business for a year and then say later on, oops, I don't have any clients. Okay, we need to prove that to the financier. If it's an expansion, it's usually easier. You have a proven track record, Bongani, yeah? And then we can follow that through. It depends on how much funding you need. That's also something where we then would decide on where to go. And clear agreements, offtake agreements, or direct contracts are the key to success in this regards. Yeah?
All right, I will email you if you can help me with that. And yeah, we've been running 4 years in July, so we just need funding to go even further.
Yes, I posted already here my admin at Funding Connection in the chat. So that's not a problem. Just use this, and Cherise definitely will be able to just guide you through our processes. Yeah.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Hello. Okay, pleasure, Bongani. Hello, Dagmar. My question is that, is the funding for tourism industries from CIFA still open? It was 2 weeks ago, if I remember that correctly. We are expecting that the money will be, the funds will be empty soon. Okay. we are just at the moment, again, still busy with compiling another application, if I saw that correctly. And we tell our clients, please hurry up. It's not that we are not mentioning these things. I said, make sure January latest, we need to submit. We are in middle of April, okay? So, but they had obviously some challenges also with their documentations. We will give them a call again. I think 2 weeks ago, Kamal called them and said, yes, it's still open. But South Africa is like this. They look at the bank account in the morning and say, oops, empty. Okay, so we are all laughing here at the moment. Let me explain to you why. Okay, so in Germany, things would happen like this. There are all the applications and they say, okay, now there is, let's say, 10 million euros, the applications. We have the 10 million euros allocated. Okay, we can't take on more. But not every of these applicants will draw the money. Yeah, so that means there is still maybe 2 million euros not drawn, and then there will be a new window open, and then they will take the next applications on. And that's why they are also, I'm a little bit exaggerating this, but you understand what I mean, you know. So this is why these things happen, and there is some positive and some negative in both ways to do that. Yeah, we definitely will need to call them again in any case, so just get in contact with my office, and it's Kamal's job. She will do that the next couple of days, and then we can tell you it's open or not. If SIFA is not open, Tetelo, the NEF has also a tourism fund. Yeah. Tabiso, another question on the same. Does the funding connection also have a mentorship program? We have a mentorship program. We are not really promoting this, honestly, because it's me who does the mentorship, and it's time consuming, and I'm also trying here. We have some other projects at the moment, so that's why we don't do that at the moment. Funding for
by the way, just to add to what you're saying, there's a organization called Mentorship Movement, and they do charge a fee, so you can actually look into that if Dagmar is unable to connect you with any of her colleagues so far. But you can also reach out to me as well, and I will connect you with Mentorship Movement.
Yeah, Wadhwani Foundation does also great mentorship programs. Okay, so funding for chemical businesses, again, in general, yes. Everything else will be difficult to determine. Can I also get a mentor in oil, lubricant, and fuel industry? Titelo. If you need somebody specifically for this industry, I would just go to any of these big petrol suppliers here in South Africa and see. I think they always offer mentorship programs. Yeah. Kashane, would you recommend corporate partnerships and sponsorships for funding? Kashana, that can be a great opportunity. Let me tell you this. I know that we are also working with a couple of enterprise development organizations together. They do the mentorship. They use us to do the business plans. We are at the moment doing 4 feasibility studies for one of them. They have already the financiers. The financiers just want to see the feasibility studies for the different projects. Definitely worthwhile to do this. I know there are also opportunities. Yeah, okay, thank you, Stembiso. Okay, funding for solar energy industry. Yes, definitely available. Again, depends on. You always want me, okay, buy me a car. I'm already really specific. I say now buy me a car. I'm not saying buy me a vehicle. You see what I'm doing? So I know it's difficult to understand, but there is more information I really need. In general, there are some funds available, renewable energy, some specific funds in any case. Do you also understand in production, Matswadi? I assume you mean manufacturing. Yes, For us, the industry is not relevant. Okay, so we have done business plans everywhere. The financier always expect that the applicant is the expert what they want to do, because you need to run the business. Yeah. So this is why this is so important. We make sure that the business model itself is strong. And because I'm doing this now here in South Africa for over a decade, and I've also done that in Germany, like I mentioned before, we can always benchmark your information against business plans we have done before. And there are some times when I say, you know what, your cost of sales are really high in comparison to other business plans in this industry. You know, and in some cases, oops, yes, we made a mistake. Okay, so in other cases, no, this is because of this. Then we add this to the business plan, because also the financier needs to understand that. Yeah. Does my personal credit score impact my ability to get funding? If it has a negative impact, what steps can one take to improve? Okay, so of course it has. I do not sugarcoat these things. Yeah, keep in mind, somebody, you obviously got and I'm not talking specifically about you, please in general. Okay, there is somebody who applied for a loan, who got some money, and according to the financier, this person is not willing to repay it. We all know life happens. Okay, so please, there's no judgment here on my side. What is important for you, and we also have done that before, make sure that you have some payment arrangements with your debtor in place. Yeah, that's what they want to see, that you are willing to tackle it, and then that is okay. And if nobody would get finance here in South Africa with a bad credit record, I think 90% of the population would not get anything here. So yes, it has a negative impact. It does not mean you can't get finance. Okay, I have been awarded tenders, but I do not have cash to fulfill the tenders, as it requires delivery first and payment later. Yes, that's always a problem with these tenders. There are some financiers out there that can assist you. Contact my office. We can just give you a link. The easiest way is usually if it is some products you need to deliver, because what they will do is they take the tender, they use their suppliers, they deliver the product you need to supply, and you're getting a commission out of it. I understand your profit margin are, of course, going smaller. Okay, I do understand that, but you also need to build some records, you know, that you are reliable supplier, and that definitely will help you. Yeah. Okay, that's possible. Leave your details on Dagmar's email. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I think we are done here. We can't hear you. You are still muted.
Once again, thank you so much, Dagmar, for such an insightful master class. And I will send the recording to everyone. Hopefully we'll have it on YouTube by end of this week. And Dagmar, just note everyone, Dagmar will be contacting you just to give you the brochure that she shared and the guidelines that she had shared with us. But definitely the recording will be available on the both on Dagmar social media and also on our YouTube channel. So whenever you go to Funding Connection Facebook page or Twitter or what you call LinkedIn, you probably access it. Give me this week for me to finalize the recording so that is electronically accessible. Dagmar, thank you once again. I cannot thank you enough. I feel like I knew nothing. Now I'm wealthy in knowledge. To everyone who attended, thank you and have a great evening. And note disclosure again. So Dagmar will be contacting you in the next couple of days, also sharing the guide as she had shared so that you guys can actually have it on your end, and just to keep your mind these things that you need to keep in mind as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, because I think some of even though we were taking notes, some of these things just escape us. But when you have a reference point, it's easier. Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening.
Thanks very much. Take good care. Enjoy your evening. Bye bye. Thanks, Chris.